Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Lehman again. Today we're going to do math, Module 1, Lesson 5. It's our third day doing this. We have a few more problems we're going to finish up. Before I get going, please remember to like and subscribe my channel, Math with Mrs. Lehman. Thank you so much for the people who already have. Hopefully it's a big help to you. Our opening pun for today is don't discuss infinity with a mathematician. You'll never hear the end of it. Ha ha ha. Alrighty. So we already did this page. We're going to go over the homework quickly. Now, I recorded a great lesson with the kids' first period. They did an awesome job, but the audio wasn't working. So I'm going back through this. I'm not sure if the kids will, if their voices will be able to be picked up on this microphone setup that I kind of figured out. So if not, I will repeat what they say so that we can still get the lesson here going on YouTube. So the exit ticket was your homework. It says, when Carla looked out at the school parking lot, she noticed that for every 2 vans, minivans, there were 5 other types of vehicles. If there are 161 vehicles in the parking lot, how many of them are not minivans? Who can tell me what the key word is there?
Are not.
Not is a big thing, right? She doesn't care about the minivans. She really cares about those other fancy cars parked out there. Not that the minivans aren't fancy, but... Alright, so minivans and other, and we're going to write that ratio, which is what, Aiden?
2 to 5.
No, I think it's still going. It's still going. Thank you for checking, though. We've had some technical difficulty today, for sure. Thank you, though. All right, so you need to draw that ratio, 2 to 5, and then I need to put the 161 somewhere. So the options that I gave the kids earlier were the following. So would I put it in choice A, each unit is worth 161, B, C, D, or E? Does anyone remember? Kane? C, very good. Why did you pick C?
Because it's the total amount of vehicles in the parking lot.
Perfect. So, what key word would we have to hear for it to be choice E?
How many more?
Very good. So that keyword more tells us that that's the difference between the minivans and the other vehicles. But this particular question does not ask us that or tell us any of that info. All it does is tell us how many total. So now we know that there are 161 total. What else should we do? I'm going to write that over here. Okay, so 161. What do I do with that number, Kennedy?
You divide it by 7.
Why 7?
Because 5 plus 2 equals 7.
Very good. So there's a total of 7 units there. So we're going to take 161 divided by 7. That gives you 14. Subtract. You get 2. Bring down your 1. 7 goes into 21 3 times. So 23. Am I done here with my work? No. What else do I need to do? What else do I need to do?
You have to put the 23 in each box.
Very good. We found the value of 1 unit. So now, once you find out the value of one of these units, you can answer any question about this you're given. So, in this case, they just simply want to know how many are not minivans. So how would I go about solving that? Mackenzie?
5 times 23.
Very good. 5 times 23. So let's write that down. 5 times 23 gives you 15. Carry your 1. 5 times 2, 10. Plus 1 is 11. So some of the mistakes I saw earlier on some of your papers were simple miscalculations. I also saw that some kids put the 161 in the wrong spot. Again, each problem is going to be different, and they're going to give you different quantities. And you need to figure out, does that apply just to the minivans? Does that apply just to the other vehicles? Does it apply to everything? Or does it represent the 3 units more of the other vehicles that the minivans don't have? Okay, in this case it was the total. You multiplied 23 times 5, you got 115. So your last step is to write it in a sentence. So there were 115 vehicles that were not minivans. All right, and a lot of people got that correct. Nice job. A lot of people who didn't get that correct just had a few minor errors that they need to work out. All right, we're going to move on to today's lesson. We had a few problems we're going to do together, and then you're going to practice on your own, and then you'll have your homework, okay? So we are going to do that in a second. All right, last summer at Camp Okie, Fun Okie. It's a fun little place in the land of imagination. The ratio of the number of boy campers to the number of girl campers was 8 to 7. So boy campers to girl campers, 8 to 7. So the 8 represents the boys or the girls, Aiden. If it's 8 to 7, and it says the number of boy campers to girl campers.
The 8 represents the boy campers and the 7 represents the girl campers.
Great job, Aiden. So I'm going to draw a tape diagram for the boys and the girls. All right. The boys need to have 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines will give you 8 units, and then the girls 7 units. Again, I'm making the 7 units match for each. They don't need to be perfect, but pretty close to the same size for each. All right. So they then tell us there were a total of 195 campers. So where would I put that information? All right, let me give you some choices. We'll go right here. Would it go there? Would it go there? Would it go here? Would it go here? Or in yellow, would it go here? Who can tell me where I would put the 195? Riley, where would you put the 195?
By the blue?
By the blue. Very good. So instead of putting a big blue blob on your paper, let's write the 195 there. I'm going to undo that. Oops, what did I do? Get rid of those. All right, so where the blue was, I'm going to now write 195. And that represents both the boys and the girls. So what do I need to do with that 195 now to find the value of one of those boxes? What would I do for that?
You have to divide 195 by 15.
Beautiful. Where'd you get the 15 from, Kennedy?
By adding 7 and 8 together.
Very good. So we subtract, she said, by adding 7 and 8 together, in case you couldn't hear her. You bring down the 5. All right, 15 goes into 45. How many times?
3.
Good job, Kane. All right, so 3 times, that gives you 13. So obviously you're not done yet. All right, what do I do with the 13? Aiden.
What you do with the 13 is that you put the 13 into all of the boxes, correct?
Very good. All right, so you can go ahead and do that. Now, if you have a bunch of boxes, you know, as long as you have the understanding that each box is, or each unit is worth the same amount, you don't have to go crazy with doing this part of it, just as long as you recognize that. All right, so now, am I done? Kids are shaking their head no. What else do I need to do? Casey?
Add 13 times 8.
Very good. Take 13. Well, you don't want to add 13 and 8, but you want to multiply. Yeah, so 13 times 8, which gives you, whoops. Did I do that right? I'm having a moment here. All right, 101. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put 101.
No, you put 111.
This is where Mrs. Lehman should edit her video and take out her goofy mistakes. All right, so 13 times 8. 8 times 3 is 24. I do promise I know how to multiply. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10, guys. 10. Wow. I think we're ready for a break. This is this has been a long day. All right, so 104 goes here. If I learn how to edit, that will disappear. I promise you, kids. In the meantime, you get to see all the goofiness that we call math class. All right, so then we have 13 times what for this bottom one? Somebody save me from my own mistakes.
13 times 7.
All right, let's see if we can multiply this time. It can't be any worse than last time. Oh, all right, here we go. What would that be? I'm walking over to a student.
It's equal to 91.
91, very good. That is correct. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 2 is 9. Very good. All right, so there were a few options on how you could get that last number. Now, if we know that there's a total of 195 and we know 104 boys are represented, and we figured that part out, you could take, I'm just going to use some space on here. You could take the 195 and subtract the 91, and that would give you a difference of 104. So that would be one method of finding that. Another, a child earlier said that this is, let's say you found the girls first, and you figured out that that was 91 by multiplying 13 times 7. They recognize that this amount right here was more. So they took 91 plus 13 to get 104, and then I think that pretty much covers it. But if you wanted to check your work, does anyone know what we could do to check our answer? All right, thank you again.
You add 104 plus 91.
And what should that add up to?
195.
Very good. So does that add up to 195 when you add them together? Not that anyone trusts my calculations at this point, but it does add up to 195. Again, these problems don't, or these workbooks don't give you a ton of room to work. So if you run out of room, please continue on a separate sheet of paper or go to the next page in your module booklet, because there's a lined sheet of paper included there. So you do need to write a sentence to answer the questions you're being asked. It says how many boy campers were there and how many girl campers. So you would write there were 104 boy campers and 91 girl campers. All right. The next question I had the kids work on independently. So again, this is just kind of a recap of the earlier lesson because it did not record the way I had hoped. So I'll just walk you through that one in case you're watching this for review or you missed class. It says the student to faculty ratio at a small college is 17:3. The total of students and faculty is 740. You got to figure out how many faculty members and how many students. So that's our job. So you would do students to faculty. You start with that original ratio you're given, which is 17:3. So you're going to make a nice long bar diagram here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm just going to double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And then 3. Okay, so then 740 is the next piece of info you're given. Because it doesn't say there are that many more, or there are just as many students, or there are just that many faculty. That represents the total amount of students and faculty. 740 right there. Then you have to figure out how many units does that number represent. So in this case, it represents how many units. You can quickly tell me that. How many units is represented total? Thank you for volunteering.
20.
Very good. So what do I need to divide 740 by? 20, yeah. So take that. 20 goes into 74. 3 times, you get 60. Subtract, you get 1. All this good stuff. 20 goes into 140. 7 times. So you should have gotten 37 for each unit. Some of the kids earlier today did their calculation wrong. I cannot relate to that. Oh boy. Anyway, so if you calculated that wrong, you would figure that out, but it would mess up all your other numbers. So just be really careful. 37 goes in each box. I'm not going to do that 17 times. You get the point that each box is worth the same amount. So now your last step is to do what? Can anyone explain that to all of our YouTube subscribers?
Multiply 37 by 3, and then you multiply 37 by 20. Or not, 17.
Very good. Yes, you are correct. So when you go ahead and you do that multiplication, 37 times 3 is 111. And 37 times 17 is 629. All right. So now that pretty much answers the question. We have to write it out in a sentence. So your sentence should say, there are 111 students. I recommend using an extra sheet of paper if you need it. I don't have that option on the smartboard. And 629. Oops, I did that backwards. Edit, rewind. My phone's ringing. Please hold. Okay, so anyway, phone just rang. So I was saying there are, and I did not label these the way I should have. So 629 goes up here, 111 goes here. So then I would know when I write the sentence there are 629 students and 111 faculty members. All right. The homework for tonight was to figure out question 23 and 24. I'm going to point out a few key words for you. In question 23, it tells you how many more. So you're looking for that amount, or you're going to label that in the amount that's above and beyond the skiers. And down here, it's talking about ratio of adults to students at the prom. It has to be 1 to 10. And they, again, are telling you the amount that is more. So you are looking for the sections above and beyond what has an equal match, okay? Thank you guys for listening and subscribing. Please be sure to like this video. Thanks again. Have a great day.